Let me show you something that you need to do immediately when you start building your website with Divi 5. So let's say you have a website like this and someone tries to search for a page which does not exist. So when you hit enter, notice what page shows up. We get this page which says no results found. And this page, I'm sure you can agree with me that it doesn't look very professional in this day and age as professional designers. Ideally, we need a custom page that looks something like this, where you can go in here, you can start typing and search results can show up, or you can click here on go back home and this will take you back to the home page. This is the best way of presenting your website professionally. All right, so let me show you how I created that 404 page. So what you need to do is to head over to Divi and then you want to click on theme builder. Okay, so you want to click here on theme builder. Next, you want to create a template. So what you want to do is to come to this blank area here and click on this plus button. Okay, you say build new template. Okay, it's very important you do that. And the template you need is all the way down here at the bottom, this 404 page. So we're going to select that and say create template. Now, of course, for our templates, we don't need our headers and footers on this page. It just needs to be a page with no distractions. So the first thing we're going to do is to delete this. Okay, and just be on the safe side, you want to go ahead and click on this eye icon as well and make sure that nothing is going to show except this custom body. Now let's go in and add our custom body by clicking over here. So next we're going to say build custom body. But if you have designs in the library, you can click on add from library and you can start it that way. But we're going to create ours from scratch. So we're going to go ahead and say build custom body. And now we're going to have this builder right here. So the first thing we're going to do is to select the section settings. Okay, it's very important we click on that. The next thing you want to do is to head over to design and choose sizing. This is where we need to add our minimum height to 100 VH. Now, it's important we do this because when we put 100 VH, it means that our design is going to fit the whole screen. Now, let's add a background to this. So we're going to come back over here to content. We're going to go to background. Now, I'm not using SiteKrafter Pro for this. I'm just going to go in and just do it manually so that at least, you know, if there's a situation that you want to create your 404 page this way, you can actually do it this way. Okay. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to Divi University yet, head over to diviuniversity.com. This is a community of Divi users. So we have a lot of questions, answers, people sharing information and so on. So, I mean, right now we have over 1,000 users. So go ahead and subscribe. It is absolutely free. All right, so let's continue our tutorial here. So the next thing you want to do is to add a background color. So we're going to come over here. Now you can add a solid background color. It's up to you. But if you want to go a bit fancy, you can go and add a gradient by clicking on this icon here. You can also add an image if you want to, but we're going to take things very simple here. Let's just choose colors that could work with what we want here. I'm going to choose my first color, and then over here I'm going to click and choose my second color. I'm going to go with something like that, and then I'm going to go to my direction here. We're going to try 90 degrees, or you can just use this dialer here, okay, and then choose how this is going to look. Okay, so maybe we could go with minus 76. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. The next step now is to start adding all our content. So we're going to come over here to our rows and we're going to add a single column. Now with this selected, the next thing now is to add a group, because in this group I'm going to add 3 modules. Okay, the first one is going to be my icon. So let's go ahead and select that like that. Next, it's going to be text. So again, I'm going to click on this plus button here and I'm going to search for my text module like that. And these are going to be 2. So I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'm also going to have a search panel. So let's search for search. And here it is. Next, I'm going to finally add a button. So I'm going to search for it. And there we go. So I have all my elements in here, and so far everything is looking great. So what I need to do right away is to go into my group settings here, and then I'm going to go into design layout and making sure that everything is in this column manner. I'm also going to align everything center. Okay, it's very, very important you do that because that just makes our layout look great. Now that everything is aligned center, I can now go in and start designing this. So I'm going to start here with my icon. I'm going to search for error, and I'm going to go with this icon here. Okay, so we might as well go in and change the background color. Let's go with something like that. Next, I'm going to go into my text here, and I'm going to say error 404. Okay. So with that, I'm just going to come over here to my design text, and I'm going to set this to 4 rem. Okay. Right. Okay. That looks okay. And I'm going to change the color. Let's go with that. And I may want this bold. Excellent. Okay. So let me just bump this up a bit. Okay. Let's go with 6 rem. Okay. Now I want to add my line height. So my margin top, sorry. I'm going to come over here and set this to 2 rem. Okay, so that's looking much better. And then in here, we are also going to add our text, which is the description. And it says the page you're looking for doesn't exist. Okay, let's just fix the spelling here. All right, great. Next, we're going to come over here to design. And then we're going to go into text. So there's a few things I need to do here. I'm going to go with 1.2 rem. Okay. And then I'm also going to change my color here to white. Next, I'm also going to add a bit of a margin top here. So I'm going to come all the way down here to spacing. And for my margin top, I'm going to set this to 2 rem. Okay. So that's looking great so far. Next, I'm going to come over here to my search module, and I'm going to select it. And the first thing I want to do is to fix my size here. So I'm going to go to sizing. For my width, I'm going to set this to, let's try 40%. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I think that's the right size. But if you prefer to make it a bit smaller, it's pretty much up to you. Now we can further customize this by adding a bit of color. So in this case, I am going to go into my field, and you can see here field placeholder text. I can click on this drop down here, and then I can start customizing it here. So placeholder text, in fact, let me just add it first. Okay, so here's our placeholder text. So I can say start typing, or you can search. Okay, or we can say, call it search. Okay, start typing. How about that? And then I'm just going to put these 3 dots. Okay. Now we can go in and decide what color this needs to be. So I'm going to go into my placeholder text color, and we are going to set this to white, but we're going to go back and customize it a little bit. Next, our placeholder text size, I'm going to set this to 1 rem. Okay. And then field background color. All right. So this is something I want to customize as well. So I'm going to set this to white, and then I'm going to add this transparency here. Okay, let's go with 20. Okay, maybe 24. Okay. And then we also have our focus text. Let's set this to 1 rem. Now for the color, I'm going to leave it as it is. But what I want to do is to add a bit of spacing. So I'm going to come over here to spacing, and I'm going to set this to 1 rem. And I want this on the top and bottom, and then left and right. So it's nice and big. And for my border, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this to 2. Okay. And then for my border color, let's set this to white, but we're going to add a bit of transparency to it. So it is very subtle, maybe down to about 40%. How about that? Okay, so far so good. I like the way that is looking. I'm going to close out of here. And pretty much, I think I am okay. Finally, I just want to make sure that I'm going to go back to my section settings, design, layout, and I'm now going to make sure that my flexbox here is set to column. Okay, and then over here, this needs to be centered. Now, you may have noticed that things just change a little bit. There's a few bugs at the moment in the theme builder that I've noticed. So just be aware of that as you're designing. Anyway, let's move on to our final element, which is our button. Okay, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say go back home. Okay, now here's what we need to do on the link. So on the link here, we don't add a hard link. Okay, so what we could do is we can just come over here. For our link URL, I'm going to click here and then I'm going to set a dynamic link, which takes us to the home page. So with that now, it ensures that nothing really happens to it. Everything is going to work fine. Even if you decide to export this, it is going to work okay. Next, I'm going to hit save and exit. I'm going to save one more time. And now we have our template for our 404 page. So here's the thing. This is what it looked like. Let me just clear the cache. We should be able to refresh this and we should have our 404 page now. There we go. So now we have our 404 page. You know, we can start typing in here. I mean, that text could have been white, but of course now you know how to go in and change it. And if I click on go back home, this will now take me back to the home page dynamically, which is fantastic. Now, what I've shown you in this video is in the Divi 5 mastery course. Now, this course covers, you know, quite a lot when it comes to learning how to use Divi 5. So as you can see here on the courses, you know, it's only going for $27. So you can go ahead and purchase it. So far, it has 15 lessons. But I will be adding a lot of lessons here, covering pretty much every aspect of Divi. So far you can see we have Flexbox, we also have nested rows, the group feature, variables manager, how to use rows. So there is quite a lot to go in and start, you know, learning. At the moment, the course is $27, but this is a limited time offer. It's going to go back up to $47 once it is complete. So this is your time to get this at a very, very good price. Anyway, go ahead and sign up. All the links you need are in the video description below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.